Can you guys can see my screen?
Yeah, yes, we are able to see.
Okay, okay, great. This is a participant one. This is a chat window. Yeah, um, just ping me here once you need anything. Okay, okay. So, basically, I got some curriculum as I mentioned earlier. Okay, I'm not sure what is the expectation here. Just give me a minute. I will share with you. Okay. So understand full stack Node.js. I hope you guys are aware of what is this. Okay. I don't want to go with this one, but yeah, if you guys have any questions on what is a full stack and what is a Node.js, if you guys have any questions, please speak out so that we can discuss over this stuff. I hope we are good with these two things. And Node.js setup, I don't know whether how many of you guys are done with this or not, but definitely I need to go with this one. Just go with the nodejs.org. Okay. So when you go to the nodejs.org, there is something like a download Node.js. LTS stands for the long-term support. Okay. LTS stands for the long-term support. You can go with the directly click on here, even if you are using a Mac systems, or else if you are using a Windows systems, directly you can click on here. It will download one exe file. Just click on next. There is nothing much. Okay, just click on next. Here they will mention like download Node.js version 20.13.1 with the long term support. Node.js can also be installed via package managers, so you can go with the package managers and all. Want a new feature sooner, I mean to say, like, there is alpha version will be there. So if you want to go with the alpha or beta versions, you can directly download a Windows, I mean Node.js version 22. But I strongly argue with you guys, don't go with this Node.js version 22.0, because it is still a new features are here, but still we are not acquiring those things. I mean, just like people are not aware of those things, even if you are trying to, implement the new features. Instead of that, whatever you are seeing in the LTS, that is a long-term support. Just go with that and download this one. It's not, I mean, it is a recommended to always go with the LTS and directly install that one. If you are not comfortable, you can go with the previous versions as well. So once if you click on next and directly install this one. Okay, directly click on here, I mean to say, like, go to the whatever editor you are using, or directly you can go with the Node.js. Okay, when you click on Node, right, Node.js command prompt will be installed directly to you. Okay, directly open this. I'm talking about what it is called Windows version. So it will open like this. Okay, so directly you can just press a node hyphen version. Okay, so what it will do, it will give you the version. And remember one thing, I in my machine currently it's a 20.9.0, or else you can try with another thing like npm hyphen v. Okay, npm hyphen v stands for the version, npm stands for the node package manager. Okay, we will discuss about those things. Currently mine is 10.1.0. I mean, it's not I can't say like directly you can install only these two versions, but a part of that, whatever you are seeing in the node, I mean to say, like, this current versions you can install with that, and you can go with that. Okay, and always remember one thing. Currently we have a nodejs.org is the website where you can see all the node related stuff. Along with that, we have something called npm.js. Okay, npmjs.com, sorry, npmjs.com. So in the npm.js.com you can see all the packages. I mean, if how many of you are, I don't know how many of you are aware of really about this npm.js, but definitely you need to understand what is npm.js. npm.js is nothing but a node package manager. Okay, remember one thing, node package manager. So it's not only just for a node, but it is purely built only for the node.js. Okay. Oh, okay. Why this one? Just a minute. Okay. So, for example, let's say, what is the relation between this Node.js and NPM? Okay, Node.js is a direct, what it is called. I can say like it was built on the top of C++ and V8 Chrome engine. Okay, plus JavaScript. This is what the Node.js was built, and NPM is nothing but Node Package Manager. This is a simply I can say like it is a global repository for all Node.js. So, what is meant by global repository? Okay, I will explain. Okay. Okay. Here, I can go with the blank diagram. Okay. Great. Okay, fine. Uh, okay. Now, see, basically, I'm using something called a draw.io. Basically, this is a very simple, what it is called, for a drawing purpose. Basically, we can go with MS Paint or something, but this is a easiest way to draw any, diagrams or any flow charts, this kind of stuff. Definitely, draw.io is really very, very helpful, and it will be easy for us. Here we do have a lot of diagrams, and all you can directly pick any of the diagram and just simply drag and drop. So that is the reason I just always choose this draw.io. If you are not comfortable with this, only you can go with the MS Paint or something, that is also fine here. Okay. And see, now let's say this is my Node.js software. Okay, this is my Node.js software, and as I mentioned earlier, this was built on three things. One is a JavaScript engine, okay, plus Chrome V8 engine, okay, plus C++. Okay, these are the things which are here in the what while we are implementing a Node.js. Okay, so a part of that, we have something called NPM. Okay, NPM is simply stands for the Node Package Manager. Okay, inside the Node Package Manager, all the packages or modules. Okay, simply it contains a few things, which I can call it as a modules. Okay, or packages. Okay, so either you can call it as a packages or modules. Okay, so these are all defined inside the Node Package Manager. That is nothing but NPM. Okay. So how we can give the relation between these two things? Okay. Simply, I can say that there is a relation between these two. Okay. Okay. So whenever Node.js engine is started running, okay, by that time, first what it will do, it will go to one of the file called a package.json. Okay. It is something called a package.json. Okay. Okay. So what is this package.json? Okay, the name itself indicates it is a JSON file. Basically, what is a JSON file means? It's a JavaScript object notation, right? That is what we heard about that one. Now, whenever you are trying to start running your application by using a Node.js, by the time what will happen, right? Simply Node.js engine or the JavaScript engine, first it will go to the package.json in your application folder. And first it will check whether it is a feasible or whatever the apps or whatever the applications you are trying to run. Okay, by that time package.json is having a few things. Okay, what are those few things? Okay, the first thing is, I mean, it contains two things. Okay, package.json contains two things. One is a uh, just a minute, I'm sorry. Okay, the first one is called, I don't know. Okay, so this is what called a first thing, which is called a dependencies. Okay, next one, there is something called a dev dependencies. Okay, so only the two things you need to understand. One is called a dependencies, and next one is called a dev dependencies. So what is a dependencies and what is a dev dependencies means? So basically, dependencies are the packages which we are used. I mean, every which we are used in a production. I mean to say, like, for example, I can say, like, whatever the packages which are helps you to build something or to support your application in your production, then these are called the dependencies. What is a dev dependencies? Basically, dev dependencies in the sense the packages or the modules which are helps you to only run your code in your local boxes or in a pre-production. I mean to say, like, you can say either in a dev environment or in a QA environment or in a pre-production environment. These are called the dev environments. They are called as a dev dependencies. But whatever the things you are trying to execute in the production, they are called the dependencies. Okay. So how many of you are understand this topic? Please do let me know. If you are not understand, please do let me know. I will explain one more time. Basically, this is a very important concept. That's it. All good? Okay, that's good. So if you are aware of this one, that then it's okay. Somebody message. Yes, sir. Okay, fine. If you are aware of this topic, then it's fine. If you are not aware of that, please do let me know. Only remember one thing. Whenever you are running your code, Node.js engine will go to the package.json and it will check for all the dependencies and dev dependencies. But remember one thing, package.json always contains the version numbers. That's it. Okay. It is not contains all the code or something. Package.json will not contain all the things. So instead of that, there is another file which is called a package.log package.log. Okay, basically we will call it as a package log.json. Okay. Okay. So what is package.log.json contains? Basically, this package.log.json contains always the code base. I mean to say, like, whatever you are trying to install. Let's say there is a external modules or any npm packages or any other REST services, whatever the things you are having, all the code base or the dependencies of that dependency. Let's say there is a module. For that module, we do have another dependency. For that module, we do have another dependency, so on, so on, so on. Whatever the circular dependencies are there, everything will contain inside the package.log.json. Okay. So now understand what package.json is a user friendly. We can call it as a user related stuff. Okay. User friendly. Okay. And this one contains a system friendly. I can call it as application friendly. Okay. Application friendly in the sense what? Basically, application will try to understand like what are the things. I mean, we as a user or as a developer, we know that what is happening, okay, by using this package or JSON. But by using a package or log JSON, system will understand what is the things really required for to this application. Okay, so that is the reason there are two files. One is a package.json and another is a package log.json. Okay, you can see like when we start creating the things, right? But definitely you can see these two files and all. Okay, don't worry. I will show you how these things will work. And always remember that there is something called a dev dependencies, and another one is called a and another one is called a dependencies, and another one is called a dev dependencies. Okay, these are the two things you really required to know, because basically in when you are trying to create any application, these two are really required here. Okay, so up to this part, are we clear?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
now fine. Now, next one is a NPM. Okay, let's discuss something about NPM package. Basically, what is a NPM? NPM is nothing but it is a repository. Okay, I can say that it is a repository. So I will mention that here in I can say like here. Okay, somewhere. Okay, wait. I don't want to keep it here. Okay, this is a repository. Okay, basically, what NPM is nothing but it is a repository. Okay, I can say it's called a global repository. Global repository. Okay, so here what we will do, whenever you are calling any package, so basically as I mentioned, like a package.json contains all the versions and all. So whenever you are trying to run your application, then it will go to the npm repository and global repository and it will bring all the code. But this is very difficult, right? Every time whenever you are just clicking on something, let's say there is some event, when you're clicking on something, then immediately going to the npm package and from their global repository and bringing back some piece of code and executing in our application. Definitely, this is a very difficult task. Very, very difficult task to execute all the stuff from our application point of view, right? This is what your application is. Application in the sense, either it can be a web or mobile. It can be anything. I mean to say, like, either it can be a web application or mobile application. Okay. So whenever you are trying to call this application, definitely what will happen, right? So that will come to the Node.js server. Node.js is nothing but a one server. So our Node.js, what Node.js will do, it will directly go here and it will execute this stuff. Okay. Just a minute. Okay. Okay. Give me a minute, please. Okay. Okay, this is what our web application is. That will come to the Node.js server, and here it will check for the package.json, and from the package.json, it will check all the dependencies and dev dependencies. From there, it will go to the package.log.json, and it is application friendly. That means it's a system friendly, I can say. So it will go to the npm package, and it will go to the global repository, and it will bring all the code, and it will execute. But every time going to the global repository and bringing from back from the cloud is very difficult for everyone. So that is the reason we do have something called a node underscore modules folder. Okay, node underscore modules folder. But remember one thing, node underscore modules folder is nothing but a simply a copy for npm. So whatever the packages you are mentioning here, all the packages at the very first time, that means only one time, very first time, what you will do, you will bring all the packages from the npm and you will keep it inside the node underscore modules folder. From there you will execute all the things. That means if you want to change something for the existing things, I mean to say, like, whatever the node packages somebody built, right, you can change all those things. There is no such a rule like, okay, you cannot change and all. Entirely it is in your control. Nobody will ask you like, okay, what to do, what not to do. It is it is your responsibility to check whether how it can run and what it should do. Everything you can decide. Okay, so remember always one thing, that npm is a global repository, and from the global repository, whatever the modules or packages, at the very first time, it is a one-time step. Okay, it will come to the node modules. But let's say in the middle of your application, somebody asks like, okay, we want a new repository, or we want a new package or something, or new module. Either package or module, both will be the same terminology. So somebody asks you like, okay, we want to install a new package. Simply what they will do, they will put it inside the package.json, and they will run some block of command, I mean some piece of command. With that command, the system will, or our application server will go to the npm and bring all the modules, whatever it is required, I mean whatever the new packages or new modules you want to install, and they will keep it inside the node underscore modules folder. Okay, this node underscore modules folder is a common folder, just like all other folders. It is also one of the folder in your application. Okay. Okay, now what I will do, this is our node server, right? Okay. So how we will interact with the node, our application interacts with the node server, right? So basically we have something called a three-layer architecture, as I mentioned earlier, right? Okay, always remember that thing. So this is what we call it as a client. Okay, this is what we call it as a database. A database in the sense, I mean, I'm not calling it as a database, I can call it as a backend. Okay, backend in the sense what it should be, it can be anything. Either it is a REST services, or any web services, or any database in the sense either SQL database or any NoSQL database. It can be anything. Okay, there is no such a rule like, okay, it should be limited to this one. It is not such a kind of stuff. Okay, it can be anything. So basically, we have something called a user. Okay, these are the actor or user. He is the person. So what they will do, client in the sense what? It can be anything. As I mentioned, like it can be a browser. Okay, or it can be anything. I mean to like it's a app or application. Okay, it's a mobile app. Okay, I can say it is a mobile app. Okay, I can call it as a browser or any front end user interface. I can simply call it as what it is called. Yeah, browser or a web. Okay, let me give it a common name. I can call it as a web browser, or I can call it as a mobile app. Anything is fine. Okay, anything is fine. Or I can say like any user interface. I can simply call it as any user interface. Okay, so what user will do, so user will simply perform some action here. Okay, user will simply perform some action in the client or a browser level or a app store. I mean to say, like, you can have a Google Play or what it is called, WhatsApp or anything, or Instagram, whatever it is. Okay, that can be any web browser or any mobile app. Your user will be interacted with this. This is the front end layer. So what will happen when the request goes to the web application? Okay, that particular request will go to here. So this is what called as a request. Okay. This request will go to here. So when the request go to the web application, right? Okay, I'm sorry, just let me make it above. Okay. So when the request goes to the here, then immediately web, what Node.js will do, then immediately it will interact with the database. Okay. It is not directly will go to the database. First of all, it will come to here. What I can say, come to the Node.js server, and it will pick all the packages, and it will check for the application code. Once the application code is executed, then immediately it will go to the request to the backend database. Okay. So I'm not directly interacting with this. The node modules is here, and similarly we have something called application code. Okay, I can mention something like application code here. Okay, this is the application code. So when the application code is executed, okay, this is a one time thing, right? So I will make it here. Okay, for your convenience, I call it as here. Okay. Sorry, I'm very bad in drawings and all, but yeah, okay. So this will directly interact with this one. I mean, just like that Node.js and all. Okay. What is this? I'm sorry. So our node modules folder is indirectly connected with this one. I mean to say like our npm. Okay. So whenever the npm packages from the global repository comes to the node underscore modules, then what will happen? This will interact with the normal code. I mean application code, whatever the application code you are running, that will interact with our application code. And immediately the application code contains some piece of code. I mean to say like it can be having a connection with any of the database or RESTful web services and all. So I can say something like this application web services will go to here, our backend database. I don't know. Maybe I try to draw some better diagram, but yeah, at least up to this one, I can. Okay. So this is called a request. Okay, I can call it as a request. Whenever you pass some request to the here, and the backend server will respond with something which is called a response, and that response will comes from here to here. Guys, are you getting sleepy or something?
No, no, no. Yeah, yeah.
No, why it is not responding this time? Okay, so response. Now what will happen when the user, or I can say it is not actor, but I can say it as a, just a minute. Is there any option to edit data or something? No. I don't know. Maybe there must be something called a action here. Okay, this is called a user. So when the user sends some request, okay, whatever it is called action, the request will go to the Node.js server. Node.js server, whatever the application code that will request to the backend server, and the backend server will get back to some response. And after the response, whatever it is there, that response will comes to here. Okay, the Node.js server will manipulate. Manipulate in the sense what? It can be anything. I mean to say like it can what it is called change the response based on the requirement. I mean to say some people ask like, okay, I want this kind of response, I want this kind of response, right? So it can change anything. So the response will be manipulated. I can say something like manipulated. And what is a manipulated in this sense? It can be changed. Okay, it is a changed one. Changed one in the sense, let's say there is a some big response is there. User will change that as per the requirement. For example, 1,000 fields are there. We don't need to send all the 1,000 fields to the front end application. Instead of that, what we will do whatever the required fields are there. We will send only those things. And from here, The web server, whatever the application is there, our application will send back to the response to the front end. It is called a client. Okay, it is called response. That response will be rendered on the front end. I know it is a bit clumsy, but why I'm drawing one by one and explaining you, because you need to understand what is happening over here. Please let me know once you guys are not aware or not understand this concept. I mean, this a particular diagram. Please speak out. I mean, I can unmute everyone, or else you can just message here so that I can unmute anyone. But you understood this topic, right?
Yeah, Balu, please say 1 second.
I'm just asking, like,
Hello.
yes, go ahead.
Please repeat 1 second.
Please.
Repeat 1 second. Repeat.
You want me to repeat? Okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
this is the user. Okay, this is the user, or the front end end user. I can call it as end user, and the end user will send some event or a action. It can be anything. Either he can click something, or he can call some web services, or he wants to load the page. He wants to search some application, or anything. Whatever the action he wants, he will do from here. This is called the front end. Okay, we can call it as a front end. Okay, this front end is nothing but contains some client, which is which can be anything, either web browser or mobile application or any kind of UI. Either it can be a postman, or it can be a soap tool, or anything, whatever it may be. We will send the request from here, which is called the request. Okay, that request will come to our node server. We can call it as application. Either it is a web or mobile or not. I can change this one. Okay, it is called a node server. Okay, or else middle layer, I can call it as a middle layer. Middle layer, in the sense, it can be anything. Either it's a server. Okay, simply I can call it as application server. Okay, application server. With this application server, we are having a or build something in the Node.js. This is what we are going to build. So once the request comes to here, this is called a request. Okay, this request will comes to here. That request will go to the Node.js server. Basically, Node.js server is nothing but a combination of JavaScript and Chrome V8 engine plus C++. So inside the Node.js server, we have something called a package.json, which contains the version numbers, whatever the versions or packages we are using, which is definitely user friendly. That means anybody can easily identify what kind of package or what kind of module we are using, and contains two parts. One is a dependencies, and next one is a dev dependencies. Not only dependencies and dev dependencies, we have something called a scripts, something called different. I mean, name, description, lot of stuff are there. But major important stuff is a dependencies and a dev dependencies. These are the two things you definitely need to understand. So what are the dependencies? Dependence on the in the sense, these are nothing but modules which are used in production. Okay, for your application, whatever the things we are using, those things, those modules which we are using in the production, those are nothing but dependencies. And the dev dependencies in the sense, modules which are helping to build your application. Okay, it can be anything. Either it can be in a it can be executed in dev dependence, can be executed in different what it is called, different places. Okay, what I can say, like, either it can be a dev environment. Okay, somebody can execute either this one in a QA environment. I mean, see, I'm telling you as per my experience. Okay, some people may have a different kind of environments, but we do have a dev environment, and something called a QA environment. Okay, and something called a UAT environment. UAT in the sense, user acceptance test environment. Okay, and some people may execute this inside the pre-production environment. We call it as a pre-prod. Okay, so it can be in any kind of environment, either UAT or in a QA, or something called a QAT or QA. Okay, QA environment, or some people call it as a dev environment. Okay, there are different kind of environments are there. Okay, so as per my experience, I faced a few of the environments called a dev environment, QA environment, UAT environment, pre-production environment, and similarly something called a production environment. Okay. So what are the dependencies you are doing? I mean, you are keeping inside our particular application. They will be execute inside the dependencies, whatever you want to execute. All the things will be executed only in the production. Okay, but whatever the things you are writing inside the dev dependency script, those will be executed in the different environments. Okay, those can be like either in a dev environment, or it can be QAT environment, or it can be UAT environment. UAT stands for the user acceptance test environment, or it can be a I mean pre-production environment. Okay, there are a lot of environments are there. Depends. I mean to say, like for example, my what it is called. My company is a very big company, and usually my client is really affordable to affordable to keep a lot of environments. Then definitely I will maintain a lot of environments. For example, some people may have a dev one, dev two, dev three, dev four. Some people may have a UAT one, UAT two, UAT two, UAT three. Some people may have a production one, pre-production one, pre-production two, and all. Okay, but unfortunately, if my company is a very mid-level or small scale of industry or small scale of application, I mean company, right? People will have a very less environment. But definitely, as per the Scrum or Agile, definitely you need to have at least four environments before you are going for the production. Those are called a dev, QA. Some people call it as a QA or QAT. Okay, some people call it as a UAT. Some people is having a pre-production environment. Okay, these are the different environments. So whatever you are writing inside the dev dependencies, those will execute inside this environment. Now you may get the question, like what are the things executed in the dev environment? This will execute only in the production? No, this will execute inside the all other environments. Along with that, they will execute here as well. I mean to say, like they will execute inside the production and the local boxes as well. Okay, I don't want to keep each and relation between each and everything. So that is the reason I just mentioned inside directly dev dependencies directly here. But just try to understand this thing may be wrong. I mean to say, like I can't keep each and everyone again. I mean to say, like draw each and every line here. So that is the reason I just mentioned to the dev dependencies. Whatever the things execute inside the dev or QA or UAT or pre-pro, those packages are a part of dependencies and the dev dependencies. But whatever the things you are executing inside the production, they are only inside the part of only inside the part of a dependency. Okay, Divyanshu, you are having a doubt, just hold for a minute. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, please go ahead, Divyanshu. You have some question, right? You can go ahead. Yes, I didn't get your question. Can you repeat, please? Mm, no. These dependencies, dev dependencies, are used by only developers. See, whatever the code you are writing, it is purely for the developers. I'm not talking anything about QA or any UAT people. We are purely talking about developers writing the code. The two scripts, two parts. One is a dependency script, one is a development. Let's say you are writing some unit testing, right? So whatever the unit testing you are writing, it will be executed inside the dev, QA or UAT or pre-prod. It don't need to execute in the production, right? So that is the reason we will keep whatever the packages or the modules we are using, we will keep it inside the dev dependencies. We will never go with the dependencies because these don't need to execute inside the production. But there is a tester. Okay, they are using some any framework, whatever it is helpful to write automation test cases for the Node.js application or a front end application, whatever single page application. I can call it as a SPA, single page applications. So when they are trying to execute that as spas, then whatever the package they are writing, they can keep it inside the dependencies because they are implementing their own project to execute all the test scripts inside the production as well, because they want to execute the test cases not only in the local boxes, they should execute inside the production as well, and they want to test each and everything is working fine or not, right? So in that cases, they can keep it inside the dependent. But as per the developers, whatever there we are executing inside the product, those things will be kept inside the dependencies. Whatever the things we want to execute or the packages or modules which are support to execute this, ESLints or unit testing, these kind of stuff, we will keep it inside the dev dependencies. Right? I will mention. Okay. I will tell you. Okay. Uh, I can extend this one on the same what it is called diagram, but yeah, definitely that will make you more complex, but that's okay, because as you guys are asking a lot of questions, that's fine. Just hold for a minute. Okay. What we will do, we will extend this one. Okay. How we can extend this one, I don't know. Just hold for a minute, I will keep down. Okay, fine. Okay. A few things got changed. I'm sorry. Let me rectify those things first. Okay. Okay. This one cool. Okay. This one is good. Okay. Okay. Now, okay. Your question is, what is the Express.js and what is the difference between this middleware and Express.js, right? Okay. We will talk about that. Just give me a second. I'm not satisfied with this diagram. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Okay, now, as I mentioned earlier, there is a request coming to the server, right? Okay, inside the server, we will do something and we will send back the response to the front end. Okay, this is what the manipulated response. I can call it as a server response or the manipulated response, right? Okay, now let's talk it about a middleware. Basically, what middleware's job is, okay, let's say the request coming to the and you're sending the request to the application server, right? So inside the application server, where the code is, see, this is where the application code is, right? So before you are sending your request from here to here and here and here and here and here, these are the different steps you are trying to pass your particular request from top to bottom, right? By the time, what you will do, you will have something called a middlewares. Okay, basically what is this middleware's job is, okay, there are a lot of things middlewares can do. For example, let's say I'm just talking about a couple of examples to make you understand. Let's say the client is requesting something from the front end to the middleware. Okay, by that time we want to check whether this particular what it is called request is coming from the trusted source or not. What is a trusted source means? Whether it is coming from the proper user instead of what it is called instead of from hacker or something. Okay, whether the request is coming from the proper user or not, that is what we want to check here. Okay, so in that cases, what we will do, we will inject something called a middleware. Okay, this middleware job is to check and find what is this? This one. Okay, sorry guys, sorry. Actually, I didn't what it is called prepared this diagram earlier, because I can download this one from somewhere and I can show you, but it is a very difficult for you to understand. That is the reason I'm just on the fly. I'm just writing all these diagrams. Okay, so we call it as a filters or something called a middleware. Okay, what this middleware will do, it will check whether the request is coming from the trusted source or not. Server. By the time, what we will use the
Recording in
predefined
progress.
middlewares. You can write it your own custom middlewares as well. Okay, that custom middlewares will be written inside the app.js. So that is the reason they are all it call it as a middleware. Middleware in the sense, it's just like a filter in the sense, it's a what it is called a wall. Okay, before you are hitting your actual code, these middlewares will work as a wall uh, for your APIs. Okay, all the APIs will be secured by using this middlewares only. Okay, we will write some piece of code, then you can understand like how the middlewares will work. It will take a couple of parameters like either request response.
Recording in progress.
Built on the top of application server. That means whatever you are seeing inside the Node.js, right? You cannot go here and yeah. Okay. If you want to write modules, to be frank, I can say it's a Node.js core modules. So what we will do, our Node.js developers implemented something called Express.js. Okay, so I can call it as an Express.js. Okay, or something called Next.js. Okay, okay. So I'm sorry. Next.js. Okay, Next.js. Okay, so both will building another framework called the Express or the Nest.js. Okay, so if you go here, right? So basically, these will give us simple or simplicity. I can say like, for example, somebody asks you to implement something called crypto. There is something called a crypto module. Okay, basically, what crypto will do? It will encrypt your code. Okay, and decrypt your code based on your requirement. That is what the functionality of the crypto. Then basically what you need to do, you don't need to write your crypto code and create your own hash algorithm, and instead of that we will depends on some of the frameworks. Or else if let's say if you want to connect to some databases, what you have something called http or https modules, right? So by using https modules we will got something a server dot connects or something blah blah blah, you need to write it inside that one. So why you are writing a thousands lines of code instead of thousand lines of code? You can rely on these frameworks. These frameworks makes your life really easy. So once you go for this, whatever it is, documentation, you can see like how you can do that app.get app.post. It's a very simple thing. I mean to say like it's not only this one. There are lot of what it is called functionalities and everything is here. Instead of writing your own code from the scratch inside a thousand lines, by using a framework you can finish it inside the just a 10 lines, just a 10 lines of code. Okay, that means it will makes your life very easy than writing a thousands of lines. Okay, it is not only express and Next.js both will be the same, but the features are a little bit different, because Express.js has existed in the market from past, I can call it as a 10 to 15 years around. But Next.js is recently came up from past to 2 to 3 years, but it is a more popular nowadays. People are mostly moving from Express.js to the Next.js. Basically it's a what it is called, for performance based. For example, in Express it is taking a 10 seconds. Okay, in the Next.js it is taking just a 5 to 3 seconds. So obviously people look for a more good performance tools, right? You can mention here Underhood Nest makes the robust HTTP server frameworks like Express the default, and optionally can be configured to use Fastify as well. I mean, it's like you can make your server most fast as much as you can. Okay, so that is the reason people are habituated to do this nowadays. It's an issue, and Express.js is somewhat limited to configure to the database. For example, if you see the database integration, you can see Cassandra, Couchbase, CouchDB, and LevelDB, MySQL, MongoDB, Oracle, PostgreSQL, Redis, and SQL Server, SQLite, and Elasticsearch, right? But in future, let's say there is a new server came up in the market, and we may not connect because these are the only servers which are supported by the Express.js. But Next.js will support little bit more. Okay, and moreover, Express.js in the sense you can mostly people are trying to write code inside by using a simple JavaScript or ES6 concept. But when you are using an Next.js is fully supported for a TypeScript. I mean to say like nowadays people are in outside market people mostly using a TypeScript because it's a heavily used by lot of companies, because it's a most robust, and what I can say like it is a very best framework or best scripting language to write any piece of code without any errors. Basically, if you are writing only simple code in JavaScript, the pollution will be there for the variables and all, as we discussed earlier, like in the hosting and all. But in that next, by if you are using a TypeScript, it won't we won't see such a kind of issues here in the next years. Okay. Okay, I can say like as you asked your question, middlewares are nothing but a part of the Node.js, but Express or a Next.js, these are the nothing but these are not a part of Node.js. These are I mean to say like these are additional or external frameworks which are built only for the Node. I mean to say like these are extremely prepared only for the Node.js. Okay, so these are used only to what it is called optimize your code and to make your life simple as a developer. If you want to make your life simple, you can go with the frameworks, right? So that is the reason we are using either Express or Next.js. A part of these things, middlewares are really part of your Node.js code. So that is the reason, that is the only difference you can expect here. Okay, any more questions please? Guys, did you guys understood this diagram? I mean just like, if you have any more questions, please speak out. We can extend this one a lot, but for now at least I want you keep this simple diagram so that you can easily understand here. Okay, please speak out if you have any questions. This is the overall architecture of a Node.js, but definitely remember that currently we are using a monolithic application, you know. So we
Should
are
we go
currently,
through?
go ahead please.
Yeah, yeah. Today, after this class, again, we go through the diagram and we understand. In case if any doubts, we will ask in the next class.
Right. So if you observe this diagram, right, this is simply a monolithic application. Okay, we do have two kind of servers. We can call it as a monolithic and a microservices. Monolithic in the sense what? Only single server will be there. On the top of the server, we are doing all the responses or manipulation and everything. But in a microservice architecture, it is a different. We do have a different kind of what it is called servers. I mean, it is not only single server. We do have a multiple servers. On the top of multiple servers, we will do the manipulation. One server will talk to another server will talk to the another server. Basically, this is a, I can call it as a monolithic application because it is an in-house server. Let's say I call it as in-house server. There is something called a cloud. Okay, there is something called a cloud. Okay, here it can be anything. Either it is a AWS, or it can be Azure, Microsoft Azure, or it can be a Google Cloud. Okay, anything. It can be anything. Okay, when the usually this particular part. See, remember this part. Whatever I'm keeping my mouse cursor at, this Express application server, all this stuff, right? This entire stuff was built on the AWS or Azure or GCP. We will keep all this stuff inside the this one, and we simply call from client to the mobile browser or web browser or the mobile application. We call it to AWS or any cloud application. From here, we will go to the backend server. Again, I'm telling you, this backend server can be either a in-house server, or it can be a part of the AWS itself, or it can be a part of Azure or Google Cloud, whatever you want. Sometimes people may think like, okay, sir, is it possible to keep a multiple cloud servers? For example, let's say I have a node server here, like inside the deployed in AWS, and I want to keep another server for my database. Which database is here? Let's say I can call it as a MongoDB, and that should be inside the Google Cloud. Is it possible to do that or not? Yes, it can be possible by using the REST services. I mean, one server will talk to another server. This server will talk to the front end. Okay. So there are a lot of things we can discuss, but only the thing is it is a very basic stuff you need to understand. Once the request come to the front end to the middleware will take that request and will check in the middleware whether it is a valid server or valid request or not. That it is only not only for the valid request. There are a lot of stuff is there. I mean to say like, for example, as per the business rules or business logic, we can change it. Sometimes you need to check whether the JW token is fine or not. Sometimes you need to check whether OAuth token is valid or not. All the things we can check it inside the middleware. Okay, so then let's say if you want to apply some business rule for each and every request, then definitely you need to do it inside the middleware, because middleware is nothing but a wall to the each and every API you are calling. From then it is going to the Node.js server. Inside the Node.js server, first it will check for the module which is required is there or not. It will check for the package.json. If it is there in the package.json, then it will go for a package.log.json, and it will check whether it is a valid package or not. It is application friendly. We may cannot read the entire code, but application will understand what kind of code is there inside the package.json. From there, it will go and check for the actual code inside the node modules, because each and every package.json module will have a dependencies and a interdependencies. interdependence in the sense, let's say there is a one module and one module is having a dependency on another module, and that is having another module. Keep on, it will keep on going. So the node underscore modules folder will contain each and every module, whatever you are mentioning inside the package.json code. The entire code base is here, whether it can be either in a JavaScript code, it can be a TypeScript code, anything. Okay, you can directly modify that. Nobody will ask you, no one will ask you or question you like why you change my code and all. Either you can change it here, or you can change a new package, or you can directly go to the npm.js and you can go for any package. For example, I have something like Express is a framework. That's what I mentioned, right? Okay, Express is nothing but one of the package or one of the module here. Okay, directly you go to here, and there is something called see, this all repository is there. See, it is contains 31 dependencies. So there is something called the dependencies and the dev dependencies. We will go with the one by one. Obviously, it is almost time also 8 o'clock, but that's fine. So these are the dependencies we are talking all about, and these are the dev dependencies. That means what? These dependencies which are executing in the production, and these dependencies which are executing on the local boxes. For example, if you observe this module, right, it's a super text. Super text means what? This is nothing for only for a testing purpose. Cookie parser, okay, connecting to the Redis. So these are Mocha. Mocha is one of the testing what it is called framework or testing module or testing package, right? So ESLint. All these things will be inside only to work inside your local boxes, but not in the production. These are the only modules which are executed in the production. If you have any questions, you can go with each and every dependency. For example, I have accepts is one of the dependencies. Then you go for a accept is dependencies. Again, this will have some more dependency. Accept is another module. Again, go for it, and it is contains two modules as a dependencies and multiple 10 modules as a dev dependencies, right? Similarly, for example, if you go to negotiator, this is also another module. So in a package, module or package, name is same. I mean, it is like you can pronounce it as a node module or a node package. Okay, this contains a multiple packages. How you know that? Go to here. It is a zero dependency. That means there is no dependency here. Only the dev depends. Four dependencies are the here. All right. So it is not a single one. Every this Node.js, I mean what I can call is node underscore modules folder is there. This node underscore modules folder contains each and every module, whatever you are keeping inside the package.json. Not only those modules, its dependencies, and those dependencies, everything will comes under into the node underscore modules folder. And here finally we have an application code. Whatever the package you want to execute, everything the code is written inside the node underscore modules will be called from the application code. Now the request is going to the backend as a request format. Then we call it as a HTTP request. Okay, either HTTP or HTTPS request. It can be anything by using Axios or Fetch or
ఒకసారి స్నానం చేసి జెర్సీ కూర్చున్నాడు
okay, HTTP or HTTPS module. So from there you will send a request to the backend, and again the response will comes to the application code, and this response will go to the server, and the server will send the response to the client. Anything else? Just please speak out. If you feel like it is a too much fast or something, please do let me know, so that you know I can make it a little bit slow. No questions? Okay. So what you can do for today, just please go through the some of the concept called a monolithic or microservice architecture. I will go to, okay, sorry, I didn't open here. Out. Interpreted this. Okay, lot of stuff from my side is pending, right? Okay, I will do that. Okay, so just go through the diagram and please read about a few of the concepts. One is a monolithic applications versus microservices. Okay, this is the main concept you need to read about. Okay, just try to read about this one. if you have any sources, please do paste here, or if you need any sources, please do let me know, so that I will paste it here, okay, in some time. If you don't have any questions, we can drop off.
Recording stopped.
Understood. Okay, sir. Great. Great. Thank you so much, guys.